keep stealing it, but just stealing it once can pay off. And as it stands, EG just struggling to fight into this 5-man. Alchemist is such a tanky frontline raid boss right now. He gets the Solar Crest, he gets the Vlad Zora, he gets constant aphotic shields, and EG just don't have the damage to fight into it.
Look what happened off the back of that as well. That dieback and such certainly contributing. I mean, look at how close was Universe to Olympus, because something like that could have changed that situation.
He was
I imagine he'd be close before the buyback in the second day.
He probably had enough for the Perseverance, but not the Lincoln's recipe itself.
If he had that fight, it would have been a hell of a lot different.
And that's where this game comes down so much to timings. EG went greedy. Their timing comes around the Lincoln Sphere with the Morphing Ethereal Blade. Newbee recognizing it. They're not even, normally with Alc, you fight around like 30-minute mark when he has Octarine Manta. They're going without the Octarine. They're going much earlier with the Alchemist because they're afraid of EG getting that Lincoln Sphere, getting that Ethereal Blade. They want to fight as early as possible, even if SCC isn't at that normal Alc fighting stage.
SCC standing tall on the high ground. I know they've got a little bit of timing left. Universe, I believe 20 seconds, 10 seconds in fact, until that black hole is there. And indeed, you know, Newbee, they know the timing. They know that it's time to, again, respect that potential threat.
Their timing's been extended now. The Enigma buyback, winning those fights, taking your racks. That window where there's no Lincoln Sphere just got extended. So now you're no longer in as much of a rush. You can actually wait for that Octarine core. You can push another tier 2 tower. You can perhaps even take another Roshan. So winning a fight and forcing Enigma buyback changes the state of this game, and the window for Newbee to excel has been increased, but EG looking to do something about that.
And they need something insane.
They need to get onto the vent. Someone like Jug needs to find...
Look at his positioning, U9.
Like
he knows.
How does Jug get on top of that? And then KP's like, I'm just going to run in, scout out the smoke, steals Healing Ward.
And EG just running back to the base. Well, they do have a Lincoln, so... Was it Universe to finish his?
On the Lincolns, that's not his, that's Morphlings. Oh yeah, I guess he can put it on the Enigma. That's a good way to approach a fight.
If he puts that on Universe,
definitely.
That already helps some of your problems.
Yes, there is 2 ways through. You can use Spell Steal and the swap, so theoretically you want to use Spell Steal first to break it and then swap. Yeah, you don't get to steal the black hole, but you've got to cancel that Lincolns to make sure you can deal with it. And generally it's the Alc and the Abaddon in the front lines getting caught. We're seeing those heroes get black holed the most. Rubik wants to stay out on the sides, although I say that, we've seen some super aggressive, great Rubik plays this game. Kaka has been absolutely standout, as is U9. And Newbee going to start working on shrines now. A lot of early farm on this Venge, good fighting items, and the problems for EG will continue as these shrines go down and Newbee perhaps wait out for that next Aegis.
And of course, SCCC just incredibly massive. 27 minutes in, 22,000 net worth, nearly, well, just around double that at the value that Arteezy has managed to climb to. Octarine complete. And as we see here, the two of them, CCC just making sure that Arteezy gets the hell out of there.
Still no Ethereal Blade. We'll have it before any kind of a second high ground push comes, but you're already looking at 1 lane of racks down and tier 3 tower low, and Newbee eyeing off Roche. They're camping it out, could respawn any time now, so Sam's just on Roche duty while the rest of the cores farm at the lanes. See what, okay, I was about to say, I was wondering what KP was going to get next on the Abaddon for fighting. It gets a casual drums, just like a whatever kind of item. May even consider like an Aghanim Scepter this game as like a nice team fight item that you're trying to break high ground with. I guess at this rate,
he could probably rely on the Alchemy at this stage just to give him...
That's true, yeah.
Because he's probably priority in this match, wouldn't you say? Or do you give the Rubik first?
No, not the Rubik. I'd say maybe you consider Venge, because Venge is a core.
The swaps. Yeah.
Not that you want to die, but the stats as a core hero is just nice, and the swap cooldown. So Venge or Abaddon. Typically, even like when you've got a Rubik with an Axe, you just want to give it to core heroes because they benefit so much from all the extra stats in fights. But we'll see. He's got enough farm. He may just say, look, that Alc is going to give me one too late. We want to end the game now. I can buy one. But there's a lot of good items you can get as an Abaddon that wants to fight. You get items like Lotus Orbs to try and deal with like the shotgun. Get rid of the Malefice. There's a lot of different things you can do this game.
Smail still trying to climb his way towards that Diffusal Blade. A few hundred gold and he will have it. Universe as well, still quite a bit away from that completed Lincoln. Has the money for Perseverance, but the recipe isn't quite there.
CM in her little Roche cave finally gets rewarded with the Roche respawn.
It paid off. He's back up. We found him.
Poor CM. That's your life. But find the Roche respawn. I imagine Alk picks this one up. We'll have to drop his armlet, presumably, or the Hyperstone. I guess he hasn't got the full AC yet. Here come EG, though. Can they get here in time?
It doesn't look like it. Roche was falling very quickly.
And KP's in
perfect
duty,
smoke dispelling range. In fact, Newbee eyeing out the outsides of it all. And there we have the movement forward with the illusions. Universe trying to look for the wraparound, but the Roshan's already down. SCCC picks up the Aegis. Samel will go in with the Omni Slash, but they've lost crit. They do bring down Faith. Magic Missile will proc the Lincolns on RTZ. Universe still has that black hole. Looking for a perfect opportunity. They're relatively grouped up. There's the jump. He's found two and he'll go for it. But the concoction flies through. Cancels the ult. Wukong Saman is dropped down by Zai, but they've lost Universe. Samel getting chased down. They'll lose the jug as well. RTZ desperately trying to find Kaka, and he will do so with the waveform. E-Blade and the adaptive strike. He's managed to bring U9 down as well. Artur holding on, tries to go for the TP, but it's not quick enough. The damage is too much there from SCCC and KP.
TZ showing some signs of life at the end of the fight. They're all in. They want to
end this, Newbee. They want to move forward. They want to knock EG out. Send them home. Yeah,
more important than the EG buyback stats is the black hole cooldown. That is something which they're like, there's no black hole. We're not afraid of anything.
Crit.
SCC, okay, won't get that kill, but will swing back towards the mid lane, and with Aegis still in hand, EG, you're going to buy back, but even when you're back alive, still no black hole, still no big ultimate, still no Omni Slash. Where's your damage going to come from? As EG will be pressed to defend their last lane of racks. No defense at mid. Can they defend top?
The real test for EG. Their final stand here, potentially at DAC. Universe will jump forward, but as you mentioned, still no black hole. Telekinesis onto Artur, looking to try and bring KP down low. Universe kept alive by crit. RTZ, waveforms in the center of it all, but he gets Magic Missile on RTZ's down. There's a dieback for the Morphling, out for 80 seconds, and without him, very little EG can do. Samael gets fade bolted out by Kaka. GG is called, and Newbee move forward here in this Game 3 victory. And Evil Geniuses have come to the end of their road.
Great comeback. EG, you know, they win a very convincing Game 1. It was a bit of a stomp. Game 2, EG have another good laning stage. Look like they may just take the series, but Newbee shows some serious resilience. They had a couple fantastic drafts, and that was a very different Newbee than we've seen during the group stages. Newbee have really upped their level of play, as of EG, but great series. The best of 3 we've had here at the main event.
Really tight dodo between the two of them. I mean, we saw as well, if that engagement down bottom went different, Universe gets the black hole, but as we talked about, Core Venge, U9 and SCCC, money for days. A very solid core performance from both of them, and overall, Newbee looking incredibly strong as a team. As if from myself and Godso back to the panel, Newbee are doing it. Evil Geniuses, they're leaving us, guys.
There we have it then, Newbee winners against Evil Geniuses. Some of the doubters have been put quiet. There was one or two such doubters on our panel, although Capitalist was not amongst them.
Excuse me, I said my boys in blue.
Yeah.
You're true. That's true.
You did say blue.
I said my boys in blue.
I'm sorry. You SCC have the secret handshake going on.
Hey, we're from the same country.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I've heard some of these before, Charlie. They're not washing with us at all. Cap, on a serious point, that does quieten down some of the people that have been criticizing Newbee.
Yes, I will agree with that to a point. I still think that Newbee played very well. I do think they still are not looking like a team that can win this all.
Sure, they're not looking like an OG or an IG, but no. That's a great performance.
Yeah, I think so. I think that the draft was... There was kind of some question marks about it, like the fact that they drafted Rubik CM, support combination, but EG also had some awkward drafting problems of their own, and we saw that, right? They have a whole bunch of heavy, like, single target damage against tanky cores with an Abaddon backing them up. It was really hard for them to kill things, especially when Morphling was going to have a bad laning phase.
Yeah, this was a fight that EG actually really needed to win, but the Telekinesis Fall stunned Universe for forever.
Oh, man.
So no Black Hole came out, the CM ulti continued, and then this fight as well was crucial. Universe needed to grab a bunch in the Black Hole, but unfortunately the Venge moved out of the way in time, and thus no damage output. But either way, Sumail was kind of out of position. It forced Universe to go in early, and he wasn't able to catch it. And in the meantime, there's IO doing whatever he can, which is not that much this game.
Yeah, I think the IO pick was really non-impactful.
Yeah, looked very underwhelming.
I think they picked it, didn't really know what they were going to do with it. I think they wanted to. I think it's the IO pick was probably a holdover from maybe their days playing a lot of NA teams. It worked out really well for them. It allowed them to maybe abuse the mobility across the map, but Newbee just balled up, grouped as 5, and went at them. And IO doesn't do anything against that.
Yeah, but basically EG was aiming for this push like 20 minutes later in the game. They didn't think that it would just all of a sudden momentum change and end the game, but those 2 fights in a row going sloppy, and then the black hole being used at the end of the fight on the previous clip just basically gave Newbee a free Rax. And it was basically the Enigma build, like in some ways. He went Blink Dagger. S4 always goes like Midas into BKB to guarantee black holes. Then when it's not the best solution, Linken's is better, but basically Universe went for a greedier build, and he got punished right before he was able to like get close to his Linken's finish.
And it all comes down to that. I mean, I personally feel like that build got punished because of like the telekinesis drop. Like that was such a critical moment. And then you pointed out the other kind of missed black hole. It was just off the mark of getting a whole bunch of heroes. So, but ultimately that's a draft problem, right? Is that like you can't put yourself in that situation where you are forcing Universe to make all of your big plays and damage come out. Essentially.
I do want to point out a great game from U9, who was involved in almost every single kill. 5, 3, and 18.
Yeah, he played well. His tri-lane went well. They killed IO like twice, and then he would go mid and pressure Sumail a little bit. I think his item build is pretty much ideal for Avenge. It gives you high ground potential with the Manta Dragonlance. I think that's what you need to do to make that hero actually transition from the early game core. And he was in all of the early fights, and I loved KP's build that game as well. He didn't go Radiance. It makes some sense because you've already got on Alk, but he just bought items that help them end the game, and it's like the thing that Abaddon was known for, is like, oh, Vlad's drum. It's really good.
All right, let's switch over and hear what KP has to say.
What's your feeling right now just walking out here? I'm really happy because we've never beaten EG before, except maybe in Epicenter or Manila. And after that, we've never really beaten them, including MDL in the finals, China Top even in the finals. And finally here, beating EG is great, so we feel really happy. We found that Newbee, after giving up the first game and the last 2 games, you guys played really well. What kind of adjustments did you make? We discovered that Puck is kind of disgusting, so we banned it. And that's how we got back in the series. Do you feel Abaddon, under your use, was picked in both games, and you won both games? This hero's win rate has come back to normal maybe a bit recently, recent games. So how do you feel about your performance on the hero and your team's execution? I think many people don't understand this hero very well yet. Once he reaches level 25, it's a really strong hero. And then that game playing against Naga, I went with the Manta style and an Octarine to push and split push the lane. Otherwise, it'd be very hard to push out against the Naga. So I think this hero, the understanding of him maybe isn't as deep as is hoped for, but I think teams will start to learn more and more about him, understand him better. If you were to give yourself a rating, what would it be? On a scale from 1 to 10, what is the rating you'd give yourself for these Abaddon? An 8, he says. What do you think, fans? How many points would you give him? KP, you seem to be blushing. Let's talk about the next match. You're gonna play IGV. What do you think about this opponent? I think we're a little bit worried playing against them. Usually, last time we beat them in the finals of DPL, and we've beaten them in the group stage as well. But I don't think we're that worried about them necessarily, but they're also a strong team, so it's hard to say. We're looking forward to your performance in the upcoming matches, and here comes the highlights of this match.
There we go then. KP says Puck is disgusting, Charlie.
I think it gave them a lot of problems there. It's very active, and I think it allowed EG to fight a lot earlier than their last 2 games. So I think, I mean, he has a point. Maybe it's disgusting for them.
Yeah.
But he actually did beat EG at one point. They beat EG at the upper bracket of MDL.
Yeah.
So
But
this is the second time.
Not in the finals.
Right,
Yeah.
not in the finals.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very pleased that they've got over that, what they saw as a bogey team, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, I think Newbee probably killed some demons here. EG is definitely one of the tougher Western opponents that I think they've definitely proven themselves against all the other Chinese teams in the past. And in fact, in many ways, I think Newbee has actually given rise to all these other Chinese teams actually becoming a lot stronger because of the way that they have to face up against Newbee in so many of these tournaments. So I think that taking down the Western teams is the hardest problem for Newbee. And step 1 was EG, step 2 is OG.
Yeah. Final boss time. Before we go to a break, we do have a few more questions, of course, in the thread. Keep them coming. We'll try and get as many as we can onto the show. So we'll take one more now before we head to that break. Is there a sleeper hit hero at the moment? And if so, who? Kevin?
I think Enigma's there a little bit. It was shown to be a lot harder to execute without the Naga. The Naga makes all of the pre-Blink, pre-BKB ultis easy. But maybe that's the important one, I would say. I don't know, do you guys have any other ideas?
I don't know about sleeper, but I think Visage is the most interesting hero. Yeah, sorry. I think that's the most interesting one because it's like
I'm just gonna pick all of
OG
OG's
I don't think OG's been tested really. You know. So I think that Visage is just kind of gone on, and I have no idea if it actually is a really good pickup or not. And we'll have to see. Like somebody's going to test OG.
What about something that hasn't really been picked too much, like a Shadow Shaman or something like that?
Too situational, I think. Yeah, I think Visage is big. The thing I think is really good about him, remember when Zai died as Monkey King when they're about to defend Tier 1? That led to not only the tower dying, but also Roche. Whereas a Visage survives that initial burst, might be able to buy time for his team to actually take a team fight. That's a huge thing for Visage going forward.
And I think something that hasn't been stated a lot about him is his birds give so much map presence. It allows the support player to, oftentimes, because like something Austin mentioned during the break is that your cores are often farming the jungle now. But now, and support players are just oftentimes sitting in a lane or sitting behind a core. But with the the 100% uptime on birds, it gives your support player the ability to have some impact on the map while the hero itself is maybe sitting behind a core.
Okay, always interesting. Keep the questions coming. As I said, we are headed to a break right now, and that is it for Evil Geniuses, the defending